This is Bold TV. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bold TV. Bold TV is a program brought to you by beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities, Bold Hearts Initiative. And every Saturday by 10:30 a.m., we come into your space, either on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook channel, to bring you great conversations on disability and its related issues. Of course, we shed the gender light on our discussions. Today is an exciting one because we are focused on something that cuts across anybody, the relationship question. And so on this episode called Ask a Bold Heart, Relationships Series Part 2. Before we started the program in the course of the week, we set out, and asked for ladies with disabilities to send in their questions, and many of you did. We are going to tackle a few this week because, there were many questions and we can't do all. But whether we do yours today or not, you would learn something from it. Before we go ahead to have the conversations, I would like the ladies to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Abiose Falade. I am the Executive Director of Angel Wings Global Freedom Foundation. I reside in Ibadan and I'm on a wheelchair due to meningoencephalitis. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone out there, beautiful ladies. My name is Afiong Etum, medical art scientist based in Rio, member of Bold Hearts Initiative, and a co-host on Bold TV. It's good to be here. I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury.
Hello, good morning, ladies. Good morning, and online audience. I'm Musaki Teresa George Ray, reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Work with Care Foundation, member of Bold Hearts Initiative, disability rights advocate, polio warrior. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning to beautiful people, viewers out there. My name is Oluwatomisin Adeyefa. I'm a visually impaired person, a broadcast journalist, a gender and disability rights advocate. I based in Abeokuta, the state capital of Ogun State. Feels good to be here once again.
All right. So today, like we said, our conversation is on relationship. We have actually had this episode of Bold TV happen, and the part 1, Ask a Bold Heart, Relationship Series Part 2. And like I told you earlier, ladies with disabilities across Nigeria, across sent in questions. We'll tackle very few of them in hopes that we'll be able to do a part 3 in later times. Before we go ahead to dive into the question, I just want to mention, if you want to support us to be able to bring to you more episodes of Bold TV, please reach out to any of the co-hosts or write to us on our email address, boldheartnetwork.info@gmail.com, and we'll reach out to you. Even if you don't want to support financially, if you want to be a guest, either an expert on a subject or a lady with disability who wants her voice out there, reach out to us and we will be able to have you on the program. So, what were the questions that came up? So, disclaimer. We want to put out the disclaimer out there that we are no experts by any means. We come from the position of experience. We want to share with anyone out there who wants to learn from both our experiences and what we know and the little that we know. So we do not claim to be love gurus by any chance. I needed to put that disclaimer out there. So the first question is this. Ladies, you have the questions ahead of time. Because for time, I will not repeat them so many times. So I assume that you follow the questions as I ask. Question 1.
Hello, Bold Hearts. I have a need for advice for a friend. A friend of mine is into a relationship which she has noticed that the man cannot take care of her. She decided to quit the relationship with reasons best known to her. When she made her intention of quitting the relationship, known to the man, he has been sending friends to plead on his behalf, but he never asked the girl her reasons for quitting the relationship, though they were still friends but with limit. Whenever he asked her out, she refused because the man never bothered to know her reasons of saying no. It was after a year and 5 months that he noticed that the relationship was over and was eager to know the girl's reason for quitting the relationship. The girl gave him reasons and he wept. She says she has lost interest in him. Ever since then, he has been pleading. In this situation, what is your advice?
So this is a lady with disability asking for advice for her fellow lady with disability. So you see how complex it is, where it started from, where it moved to, and where it currently is. So where it currently is that the man now knows, after 1 year, 5 months, the reason why she quit. She told him, and I'm assuming that it is based on what she said in the first place. The man cannot take care of her. So in this situation where the guy is still, now that he knows, he's still begging and doesn't want to quit, he's asking, what is your advice? Biyose, go ahead and briefly respond to this. Please advise. Thank you.
My first statement to this is that it's not a complete thing. Yes, the man waited 1 year and 5 months to actually get the idea. But why is this young lady thinking that he cannot take care of her? Is it money-wise? Is it financial-wise? Financial is too money. Is it emotionally or what? And she should give him a chance to express himself. You don't conclude that someone cannot take care of you just because in your head you have decided that someone cannot take care of you. You have to have basis of why you think or feel he cannot take care of you. Because if he is begging, that means he must have a reason or must be willing to do a few things for you. And sometimes it's not all about money most times. And basically it's all things that glitter is not gold, really. So that's where I stand.
All right, thank you, Biyose. All right, Afyong, jump into this. Thank you.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, that relationship ended a long time ago. So, like you said, they said they were friends with limits. I don't understand if it was like demilitarized zone or there was fence with barbed wire, or I don't understand the limits. But the fact is that the underlying problem both of them had was poor communication. They did not communicate. She didn't communicate her expectations, and this guy also didn't communicate his own, what he wanted from the relationship. My advice would be, everybody answer your father's name. Because as it is, from the tail end of the question, you can see that resentment has set in on the girl's part. There is some level of resentment towards the man. She may just be hanging in there like, we don't have the full picture, but she may just, maybe out of pity or whatever, or, oh, we've known each other for a long time, she's there in the name of friendship. But if you have not, you can only move on to another level of relationship if you have dealt with the other one. So there's a lot of baggage. I would advise that they go their separate ways. And if at all in the future they consider coming back together, then everybody should be clearly state, this is what I'm expecting from you, and this is what I want you to do for me as far as this relationship is concerned. So I would advise them to go their separate ways so that the heartbreak is minimized.
All right, Afyong. So in adding my voice to that particular question, as we move to the next question, I'm going to say this. One of the things you want to be careful with doing in areas of speaking with somebody on relationship is that I don't even want to call it advice anymore. Just give counsel. Tell her to think. When you think of relationship, think about long term. The behaviors, the not taking care of. Is it something that you can live with for the rest of your life? Should it matter? Should it go on like that? Because I've seen marriages break down because all of a sudden, not as if she did not know, but the lady now found out that she was the breadwinner, the cake winner, and the Zobo winner of the whole house. And she said, I cannot cope with it. And everybody asked, but you knew that this guy was doing nothing before you got married. And they asked you why, and you say, oh, don't worry, he's doing business. They asked you, what was he doing? And then all of a sudden, a few years later, you're saying the same thing that people were asking you. So you want to ask yourself that this is not taken care of. Is this something that you can comfortably be okay with? Ask yourself the question. And then what are the reasons why you feel? Because I mean, for a guy for you to say we are no longer in a relationship together, and it took 1 year, 5 months for the man to notice that there was a limit put on their relationship. I don't know if people are in a relationship. There's a lot of red flags in there, and all that. So she wants to be able to assess and work on communication. So first step, lady, is have a talk with your man friend, boyfriend, whatever. Just have an open communication and make a decision, clear decision on how you want to move there. Well, we advise and we counsel that both of you, for now, will just be friends. You're not doing too well in the relationship aspect, and you are currently not in a relationship and haven't been in one for the past 1 year, 5 months. All right, let me go to the next question.
Hello, Bold Hearts. My question is this. How do you handle rejection in a relationship because of your disability? Because I have encountered this on many occasions and it is disheartening.
How do you handle rejection in relationships? Rejection that is because of a disability, it is disheartening. So, Miss Singh, go ahead.
Well, rejection and disability is something that goes hand in hand. As a matter of fact, it's something that at one point or the other, you should be prepared for, whether in relationship, whether in your career, whether in the family, wherever you find yourself as a woman with a disability. Is something that somehow we just have to, develop a very tough skin towards. And I would say the first thing is your belief or your attitude towards you will help you handle any form of rejection better. You hear people tell you, oh, I want to marry you, but my mommy said I shouldn't marry a person with a disability or someone who cannot see or someone who cannot walk. They give you so many excuses for rejecting you, and it's all formed on the basis of your disability. So I would say the way you see yourself would help you deal with it better. So if you see yourself as less of a person, as a woman with a disability, definitely it will get to you and you find it very difficult to move on. But if you have, your self-love, you understand yourself, you've placed a premium value on yourself, when this rejection comes, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's your loss, because you've just lost a valuable woman because she cannot see beyond her disability. I know it could be tough because this is something I've experienced so many times. You have everything it takes. The man is looking at you and he's like, oh, you are my wife. But somehow, because of your disability, his parents, himself, his friends, everybody is just, turning against you. And then you're like, is it my fault? And you begin to start to blame yourself for a crime you didn't even commit in the first place. So I would say that you should understand and embrace yourself. And so if they are rejecting you on the basis of your disability, it is their loss that they cannot see past that disability.
For women with disabilities, one of the things that we will likely face is rejection a lot. So I want Osaki to weigh in on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Freki, for the question. Okay, for me and my sister out there, you don't need much to cry or overwhelm yourself. Just be happy. It is loss. and just step up your game. Give yourself more value. As in, once you know you're a go-getter, my sister, push on. If before you used to lie down on your bed, that day wake up, find one thing to do, get yourself a skill or a job or something. Promote the value of your life while you live. The moment you have something doing and you could take care of yourself and you are happy, people will always come and go. Like Becky said, have it in the back of your mind. It might end one day too, and it doesn't end to enjoy. But why it ends too, don't cry much. It's over. It's one of those things that happen. Like to say, have a premium love of yourself. It's very necessary. My sister, you're number one first. So people come and go. If he says he doesn't want the go of disability, not even another excuse. My sister, move on. Thank you.
Okay, and Afyon, to weigh in.
I'll just say self-awareness and acceptance. Don't wait until know who you are first, because then you will know who is best for you, the kind of person you want in your life. Protect yourself. Don't be in a hurry to just let anybody in. The reason why, many times, I'm not saying rejection won't come, but when you know yourself, it hurts less, because you know it's not because you don't deserve to be loved. It's not because you're not worthy, but rather it is because that other person can't see the value in you.
All right. So I'm going to say something to that girl. Don't be afraid of relationships, but at the same time, be cautious. Don't give yourself to everyone, because it came. There are too many people out there that are driven by curiosity above love. And then they use love as a camouflage. They use, oh, you're such a beautiful girl. I love the way you do things. Especially the woman with disability that is doing well. They attract plenty things. But you will be very cautious with giving yourself. Don't talk to somebody and then in 30 seconds say, I love. My sister, you're not in love. You are not even in like. You are in infatuation. Because it's so easy for people to camouflage that love. Me, I've seen it to experience so camouflage that you ask yourself, yeah, when did this thing do in 360? And my dear girl, if you enter a relationship, you too can do the rejecting. Because sometimes we think that when we're in a relationship, we cannot get out of that relationship, especially when we see narcissistic behavior. You have a right to say, bros, it's not working. And be able to also reject that relationship that is not good for you and your future and where it's going to. So I said, let me put that out there. So, another question.
Hello, bold hearts. Are women with disabilities different from women without disabilities? Because even when we manage to get engaged, it doesn't last. This has been my personal experience. Please help.
This one is a straightforward answer. When she put in the context, she says, because when we manage, her words, when we manage to even not get engaged, so this person has no relationship, and they have reached, oh, I love you past your mother, all those things, and the guy don't propose. So she's saying, even when we manage to get engaged, it doesn't last. It's in the spoil for road. This has happened, and she says this has happened to this has been my personal experience. Please help. So Beyonce, if you want to weigh in on this, go ahead. Remember briefly.
Every woman goes through this at one point in time of their lives or the other. It is not specific to one set of women or the other. Everyone goes through it. Maybe you just haven't found the love of your life. Maybe he thinks he's capable of doing whatever it is you want. But as time goes on, you'll find the love of your life and you'll be happy. And if the love of your life doesn't happen to be forthcoming, love yourself and get going with life. Get more money, get more life, happiness. Find happiness in yourself till he comes, or even if he doesn't come.
All right. Thank you, Beyonce. So, Miss do you want to weigh in on this? Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. We live in a society where awareness about disability is still very opaque. We're doing quite a lot to make sure that people out there, the society out there, are aware of the exploits that women with disabilities can do. And so because of this, it looks like even when you want to eat as a woman with a disability, sometimes it involves struggle, let alone want to get married. Trust me, marriage out there is tough for any woman. It's only the strong at heart and people who are willing to go for it, go all out. So it's a tough adventure. And so only the tough would also get to the finish line. So it means that the statement that maybe because you're a woman with disability, that's why you find it so difficult, may not be far-fetched. It could be true. It could be true because, I mean, disability plays a huge role in our lives and all of that. But I would say that if you are struggling to still find that bone of your bone, it means that those you have been meeting are not really your bone of your bone. Because someone that genuinely loves you will not date you, get you engaged to finally leave you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Tomi-san, for weighing in on that question. So you've heard it, but I just want to do something to this question. Some women with disabilities have been engaged and are married today. So let's also balance it out. And the other thing I would say is this: there's a lot of it that comes back to the value that you place on yourself. And before you say yes to somebody, because being engaged means that the man, whether you did online proposal or went on his knees, anyhow he said it, but he asked you, do you want to marry me? Will you marry me? And you said, oh my gosh, yes, I do. Yeah. So before you say I do to somebody, for a woman with disability, you have to put a lot of thoughts into it. There's no fairy tale in this matter. You have to be really clear-headed. So what I would say is this: for any young lady out there who is on the brinks of saying I do, have the real, because for you to be engaged to somebody, it means that person knows a lot more than somebody that just saying, will you be my friend or will you be my girlfriend? So have the uncomfortable conversations. Have it. Before the bad say, have it. Oh, I love you, it's okay. I know you love me, but can you answer those, So have the deep and seemingly difficult questions and conversations. Some people are really afraid to have the deep conversations. I've had relationship break because of deep conversation. When I knew that when we have deep conversation, and I knew that this person would not be able to cope with the fact that I, for now, live with a disability. That was the reality, and had nothing to do with love. The love, no problem. But that reality was there, and it only came out from having real conversations. Don't use Nollywood or Hollywood and JG or another person's life and gauge your own. When you have met somebody, you've been in a relationship for a while, and you know that this thing is getting to, you might start having serious conversations about life, as it were. And this would limit issues of prolonged and protracted relationships that do not really go anywhere, or broken relationships, or broken engagements. And I stand with Tomi when she says a broken engagement definitely better than a broken marriage. So trust me, you may have jumped and passed. So after the question I talked about.
Dear Bold Hearts, I'm 40 years of age and really wish to get married. In my previous relationships, I have always loved and put in everything that I have to support the men. Sometimes, I think I'm paying money for them to stay. I'm very comfortable. I've got a well-paying job and a rich family. As soon as these men become settled, they find excuses to break up with me. I'm only sharing what I have with my man. But that gesture is being abused over and over again. How then do I hide my financial status from these men?
What I've heard from all the questions we tackled so far is that it seems we think that the fact that a man has agreed to even talk to you about romance and about love is doing you a favor. Phrases like, we even managed to get engaged. Baby girl, you deserve to be proposed to, possibly in Dubai. So you did not manage to get engaged. No man is managing to get engaged with me because I know what I bring to the table. So I think the major problem is how we see ourselves. We see ourselves as second class, and so everybody else out there is doing us a favor by coming close and giving us attention, and that's not the case. So please, I beg of us, let's stop this. Then to the question, sister, you see this age thing? I'm going to be 45 this year. I don't have any hang-ups about telling anybody my age. I'm going to be 45 this year and I'm planning to show off. You said, I'm glad that after you said that, you take care of them, you financially invest in them, that you said it seems as if you're paying them to stay. I'm glad. That means there's some awareness that something you're not doing, something you're doing is probably contributing to the problem. Because if you there's nothing wrong with giving and sharing with someone you're in a relationship with. Believe me, there's nothing wrong. But if that before, if you're going to give with not with the intention that I hope what I'm offering, is going to yield dividends. That person, you may not get anything back. So if you're going to give to them because you want to. Let it be philanthropy. Not money for romance or money for love. It won't work. So please, about hiding your financial status, sister, please, don't ever think of hiding yourself or hiding who you are just to get a man to like. It's like, that statement they used to say, you are too intelligent. You're always talking big grammar. Keep it down small, bring it down small. So they know the men out there don't like women that know too much book. So somebody is telling you to dim your light so that they can feel good about themselves. Please, I'm begging you. That is the worst thing you can do to yourself. It was not a mistake that you were born into a rich home. It was not a mistake that you have gotten to the level you have gotten to. You worked for it. So please, do not try to make yourself any less to make somebody else feel good. If you don't, in fact, your financial status does not have any business in your relationship. So they don't need to know how much you're earning or how much you're not earning. It has no business. If you're having conversations with them, the only reason you would discuss finances with somebody in a relationship is if you're planning to get married. Then you people can talk about, okay, how do we handle this? But if marriage is not on the table and you're not satisfied with what this person is bringing to, into the relationship, please, your business is your business. So you don't have to reveal your financial status to anybody. Deal with them as you would deal with any other person, as a co-worker, as somebody you have just met. Somebody said, dating is for data collection. Have interviews, not intercourse. Please, I'm telling you this. Have interviews, not intercourse. Leave all the mushy, it's doing me somehow in my body. Ask questions. Ask those uncomfortable questions, those hard ones that people will be like, Ask, because that is what will tell you what is going on. Their responses will let you know. Ask them, if your wife were to do this, and for example, if your wife were on a wheelchair and people were to go out together, what would you do? Would you take her to a cinema? Ask those questions and you will be surprised what some of them will say. They will tell you, no, we can stay home and watch movie. Stay home, Guinea. The people that go to cinema, they have two heads. That will give you an idea that probably he may not be comfortable with showcasing you outside. I've been in a relationship where the guy only came to my house. We never stepped out. It's a red flag. The person has to accept you as holy. So please, I'm begging you, leave your financial status out of it and focus on getting to know that person first.
All right, thank you, Afyong, for sharing. And Tommy Zin did a rebuttal to what Afyong shared. She says, do not dim your light for anyone to see. If they have issues with their vision, let them get shades. Nice one. That's an amazing quote. All right. So, dear bold hearts, please, I am in an online relationship. At what point do I reveal that I have a disability? That's question one. And then the next one is, yes, he also wants to meet me physically. And I'm panicking because I have never mentioned my disability. Please advise.
Dear bold hearts, please, I am in an online relationship. At what point do I reveal that I have a disability? He also wants to meet me physically and I am panicking because I have never mentioned it. Please advise.
Okay, Thomas, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. For this question, I'll be sharing my own personal experience. Okay, so I met my husband online, and he did well. It was Clubhouse, and if you are a member of Clubhouse, if you know how Clubhouse works, you know it's audio. You really cannot see people. And as a visually impaired person, I mean, there are pictures I would take that you wouldn't identify my disability. That's where I wanted to, kind of differ a little from Abiose. Some of us can take pictures. If you are hearing impaired, for instance, you don't need your hearing in a picture. And sometimes even when you are with your hearing aid, trust me, somebody who is not familiar with the disability community will assume it's an earpiece. And maybe you are just trying to then get post with it while taking a picture. So that may not even be. You can decide to take your picture from your head, just your chest. That would necessarily not show the rest part of your wheelchair. So it's a whole lot if you want to now come and say that. So it took just a normal conversation in the room. Now, a lot of the moderators in the room know me. Some members of the room know me. But my husband then did not know me as a visually impaired person. And so somebody came, I had a meeting with someone, and the person was just talking about the meeting. Tony say you could never know she was visually impaired. He also did not know the meaning of visually impaired at that point in time. He was just like, visually impaired. What's that? Visually impaired. It looked like visual arts or something. And so somebody said, hey, she's blind. And then he was like, blind? Who, how? Where? When? And he went ahead to check my picture again. Still didn't find where the blindness was. And I mean, he had to ask me later. So I think I'm in the same boat with this woman because, I mean, she didn't talk about it at first. Maybe.
Please unmute. Unmute. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So, I mean, at that point in time, I now, thought about the whole episode, and I discovered that he wasn't in the room the day I was sharing my story. And so he probably is not aware. And so for me, I assumed he was aware, and then we continued chatting on phone, we continued with our phone calls and all of that, and everything was good. But at the time he became aware, curiosity set in. The normal curiosity, like, how can you be blind? Are you lying to us? How can you dress fine, you talk? And I had to do a little bit of enlightening. And so it was easier when we saw, he still didn't believe I was completely or totally blind, because he had a feeling that maybe I had some level of vision. Unfortunately, I did not have a level of vision. So I would say that it's not entirely your fault for not talking about your disability. However, for someone like me, I would have still mentioned it at some point before we get to see. You know why? Do not spring such surprises on people when they eventually want to see you. It's not nice. It looks like deception. So before you guys get to see, I would say have a conversation around it. Let him know that you have a disability. Already you've built a personality for yourself. Probably the man enjoys your conversation already. Probably he's already in love already. And so you telling him you have a disability may not really matter anymore, because he has already seen who you are without the disability in the picture. So if he decides to stay, it is his decision, it is his choice. Give him that room to make a choice, And if he decides to go because he feels, I cannot cope, like I said earlier, it is his loss. So put it out there before you get to see. Don't spring that surprise on him when you get to see. It's not fair. Put yourself in his shoes. Okay, somebody comes to me. I've seen a lot of those videos on Facebook where the person just comes up in a wheelchair and says he has an accident. And then the lady's like, this is not why I'm dating before now. How come you just have an accident and then you want me to continue? So it's deception for him. And so I feel that you should put it out there. If he decides to stay, let him make the choice. If he decides to leave, let him also make the choice. And you also should be prepared. So when you are telling him, don't assume, he must agree. No. Keep your mind open. If he decides to still come over to see you, or you go over to see him, or you get to meet somewhere, it's fine. If he decides not to stay, he doesn't want to see you any longer, please pack and move on to the next important thing. Thank you.
All right. Awesome sharing. So after Tomisi will tell us the clubhouse so that everybody can go and join there and find husband. Just kidding.
Frankly, I didn't say that.
I've been there since too. I never jump.
You don't tell us now. You don't tell us now. We'll go there. Okay,
Oh my God.
All right, so Tomisi has shared her experience from her experience, and I'm sure you heard her. But to cut the long story short, so bring it up somehow. That's what she said. And also note that the person has the choice to make. If the person cannot cope with the disability, that's why I've said you want to, as you get on in relationships, there is no hiding. Because somebody sitting on a wheelchair, another person sitting on the wheelchair may not present the same way. So try to have the real conversations as you progress in your relationship, so that you can, like she said, not come up as deceptive. So this is like your last, what do you call it? Last remarks. So the question will go around to everyone. Simple question, dear bold hearts. Please, can women with disabilities really find love? Can women with disabilities really find love?
My take on this is yes, you can find love, but first of all, you have to first love yourself. Identify who you are, be who you are, do not hide who you are. And if you don't hide who you are and you are who you are and you're comfortable with who you are, anyone who's going to love you will love you for who you really are. That you yourself, you know you really are. That's
awesome.
That's where I stand.
For you to be loved, you may try wanting to love yourself. Beautiful one.
Okay, my take on this is a big capital yes, my dear. But you don't have to be in a hurry. As for the age, don't bother. Because most times I know that most people are crying. I'm 40, I'm 45, I'm 50, I'm 60. Please, as long as you're living, somebody will love you. Love must not be marriage. It must not be. You always have someone that will love you for who you are. Be with you, your friend, whatever it takes. You will find love. As long as there's life in you, love will come your way. If it comes to marriage, fine. But if not, don't stress yourself over it. Just be happy and love yourself. But you can still find love as long as you're existing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, if you are a woman with a disability and you are on the lookout for love, you can find love. Now, it depends on what love actually means to you. So I'm going to be a little bit blunt here, and I do not want people to see like, oh, maybe because she's married, that's why she's saying so. No, not all of us, not all relationships, not all of us will end up on that altar of marriage at the end of the day. But if you are on the lookout for, because some people it's not on their itinerary, they're not even on the lookout for it. So if you're on the lookout for it, you can definitely find love. And it depends on also what love means to you. To some people, love means acceptance. To some people, love means having to spend on me. When Frankie was saying the other time that money is not everything, in my mind, I remember the video song. He said, love is sweet, but when money enter, love is sweeter. So you can't take it away. For some people, that's their own definition of love, So just put yourself in that position of somebody who is worthy to be loved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Many quotable quotes in that. I'm sure you heard it all.
What more can I say? You asked the question. Can we find love? Even if you don't find love, love will find you. Even if you don't find love, love will find you. You see me so? They say, put yourself out there, visible, let them see you. Honestly, for me, it is a chore, leaving my house to be going somewhere, and then you think of the money that will keep your pockets. But I have come to one decision, and this is my mantra whenever I wonder, this one you're always indoors. They go find you so. Then I remember that miracle no dey tire Jesus. Miracle does not tire Jesus. So whether you find love or not, love will find you. Focus on you. The Bible says a man who must have friends who first of all be friendly. Focus on building you. Focus on bringing out, the hidden treasure in you. Focus on bringing out the better version of you, not for others, but for you, because you deserve the best. You deserve to be more. So focus on you, build yourself, focus on self-development. Instead of spending money buying shawarma for someone, go and pay for course. Build yourself. Believe me, there are principles in this life. Like attracts like. So if you want to attract premium man, make sure you're a premium woman. Like attracts like. By the time you get yourself to a certain level, there are some kind of men that can approach you. You are not their shoe size. So focus on building you. Make you into that treasure that the right man will do anything it takes to make sure he has you in his life. So sister, keep believing. It's never late. Keep believing and live this life to the fullest.
Oh, a great way to end the show today. Keep believing and live your life to the fullest. Is love possible? Yes. Can be found. Love can find you, like Abraham said. But most importantly, live your life, love God above every other thing. I'm not going to add much to all that the ladies have said. They've spoken from their perspectives. Like I said, nobody here is claiming to be a relationship expert. We're just sharing from our own spaces what we feel about the different questions that were brought forward today. And if you're out there and you have anything to add by way of counsel based on the questions that were shared in this episode, the ladies are watching. So I want you to go ahead and drop your comments. Go ahead and drop the message that you like. If you don't want your comments to be out there, you can also always inbox and we will direct your answers to the ladies. One of the things we did was to assure the ladies that asked the questions confidentiality. So go ahead and share your responses. If you have anything to weigh in on any of the questions, and we will be sure to get your sent in comment or message to the ladies who asked. And the ladies who asked the various questions, I hope that you have learned a thing or two with respect to your questions asked. Place value on yourself. You are beautiful. You are an outstanding lady. If nobody has ever told you that, know it and leave it without apology. So until we come your way, same time, same station, same episodes, different episode, another co-host. My name remains Freki Andrew Essien, the Executive Director of Faker Foundation, a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, and the lady who identified as a woman with disability because I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. So take care of you, love yourself, love God, and be good to yourself. Ladies, unmute your microphones and say, oh, wow.
Bye. Nobody loves you. I love you. Mwah. I love you. Mwah.
According to the website, I love you. This is Bold TV.